Hello, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Devs, episode 15. And joining me today, we have once again Chris Kaleki. Chris, CEO, lead game designer, a bunch of other titles. And today we are talking about the Wizard, the new class coming in a week. We have season 1 coming in a week. We've announced it last week. And with it, we are getting a bunch of new maps, a bunch of new creatures, and also a brand new class, the Wizard. We've done some hints, a little teaser trailer here and there. We have more coming, but today we're taking a full, we're pulling the curtain back all the way. So we're going to talk about the Wizard, the design philosophy. You guys can ask some questions at the end, of course. We'll also do a live demo presentation where me and Chris are probably just going to beat each other up as wizards. So, yeah. How are you feeling about it, Chris?
Good. No, I'm super excited to show it off. Yeah. Something that you spent a lot of time the last 3 months and a little bit more working on. So it's perfect that you're the one with me here to show this off. All right. So I'll just talk a little bit about the vision of the Wizard and what we're trying to accomplish, how the class is supposed to play a little bit differently. Obviously, there's casters and wizards and these sort of archetype in most RPGs, most games, but fantasy games. And there's some things that we want to keep classic that every wizard usually has, or mage in most RPGs, and then try to elevate that and try to do some new stuff as well. The one big thing is that the Wizard does have multiple different elements, so you can cast fire, lightning, which is more of a new element this time around in this patch. There is some examples of lightning, like for example the beetle that the hunter has, but it's never been a main element. So the Wizard does have that, as well as frost. Predominantly the Wizard's going to be a lot of fire initially. We're going to do this kind of roll out the weapons over time like we're doing some of the other classes, but really he'll be able to master all these 3 elements, which makes a really cool gameplay of just being able to have multiple different affliction types. We're adding 2 new afflictions. One of them is called stasis with lightning, so when lightning builds up, when it hits the end of the meter, you get some damage and get stunned. And then I guess really just stasis is the only one we're adding. Oh no, fire as well. Yeah, the fire one. Yeah, the fire is the main one. And so when fire builds up, it does an explosion and does damage around the target, and can damage their allies if they're standing next to them, and spread the fire buildup as well. So but anyway, yeah, so master of elements, burst damage. So he's a little glass cannon gameplay, so he zips around and can blink around and builds up what's called charged power, which we'll talk about in a second, and then consumes that for burst damage. Gravity and time manipulation, so he has a special bucket of spells that he can manipulate time thematically, and we'll show that. It's probably one of the more exciting spells I think that he has. I'm curious to see the reaction of. He has the highest number of spells. So how the Wizard works is that he has his 3 spell buckets like every other class has, and then he has his class tool belt, which his is called the spell scroll, and he has many different spells that you can put into the spell scroll. And we're going to there's probably more that we're releasing with the Wizard than the other classes have right now, and we're even going to add more over time. So the idea is the Wizard kind of collects these spells and has a really unique loadout. And then escape artist, yeah, he's very slippery. He blinks around a lot. His blink is a little bit cheaper, or his evade's a little bit cheaper than some of the other classes. He also has a 3rd ring slot. We were kind of inspired by this because when Cole did the illustration for him, he just has all these rings. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So it's a little a passive perk that he has, but over time that perk will become more powerful once we juice up rings later down towards through early access. We'll talk about that at some later point. And some of his weaknesses is that he does have a little bit lower health. He's energy dependent, which energy is basically kind of what mana is. Yeah. Someone asked if we're going to have a video showcase. We're going to play it live, actually. in a few slides, so buckle up.
That's,
Also, I want to call out this amazing illustration that Cole did here to the right. I really love this, and you'll see it
yep,
thrown around in the marketing.
it's very nice.
Go ahead, Andre. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I see some people mentioning the third ring slot right now, and the plan is for the rings to kind of be. Rings are more like magic oriented usually. We have like either elemental resistance or elemental damage in the rings. So even if the wizard has a third ring, it just makes him even more of a glass cannon. So it just makes him even more of a damage threat. And that's kind of the plan with it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Go next.
Yeah, so his class resources, his main resource is called charged power. So when he builds up fireballs with the current weapon, with the Emberstaff, it builds up charged power, and then you consume that to cast a buff that he gets that increases his damage by a significant amount. So basically, the core loop is you just kind of charge, kind of like how the hunter charges up her shots to gain swiftness. It's kind of the same situation, but instead it's charged power that he consumes for a buff, rather than the hunter, which is more of just passive um, uh, cast time reduction.
It's more than just
So
damage.
yeah,
It,
exactly.
we'll show, but it's more than just damage.
Right. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it will just be so much easier to
Yeah.
when we just demo it. It'll just like everything will click.
Yep.
But has yeah, so the class has spell scrolls, so these are really just will feel like bonus spell slots. There's a spell scroll for a meteor ability.
Mm-hmm.
There's one for like conjure a phoenix, and so these go into those slots, and then you could just cast them like normal spells, basically. Some of them are going to be really powerful that you can only find in the world. So you can't craft them. All the others you level up the workbench and then you just craft them. Some of the wizard ones are so powerful that you can only find them in the world, like they're rare spawns. So you'll be super excited when you find one in a chest or on a shelf or something. Um, so this is the wizard's weapon that he's going to have at in I guess next week.
Mm-hmm.
It is called the Emberstaff. It's a fire staff. So we're starting with fire as the school here first. The main weapon attack is fireball, so he charges up a fireball, and it has three stages in the fireball actually. So which is really cool about this is you could hold it down for 1 second and do some damage and get charge power, or the two other stages. So the more time you hold it, the more damage it does. And uh, it does a lot of things, Fireball, actually. It
Yeah.
spawns like a little puddle underneath the at where the impact is if
Mm-hmm.
you hold it down and charge it, and that does damage and build up too. It puts fire affliction on them. It also puts a damage over time on them. Um, his right click is like a block, so it does a fire shield, and then it also can damage attackers if you hit them. And then his special, the Q, is Conflagrate, so it consumes all the damage over time on targets, and then a pillar of flame erupts and does damage to them and others nearby. And then the technical attack, when you hold right click, block, and press left click, is Dragon Flames. So it looks like this concept here at the bottom right, and this just does channel damage and affliction buildup as well. So that's really good. Like if you have a few creatures like clustered up to do damage to them.
Perfect for spiders.
Anything else? Anything else to add here?
Well, there's also the technical. That's the instant dragon flame. That is the ink
Oh,
cap.
right, yeah. At the
Um,
CC. Yep.
there's the fire staff has so much. There's the evade attack. I guess when we go in and play, we'll just play with everything,
Yeah.
and we'll show how everything works
Yeah, it's
together.
funny.
Yeah, the kit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the fireballs and the kit, they do a lot, but they work a little different. You'll see. You actually kind of have to be. You kind of have to aim with it. It's a pretty high skill cap class, at least the fire staff. At least in PvP.
Yep.
If that
Yep.
target's standing still, it's a bit easier.
All right, and so the three skills that the wizard has, skill buckets, is one of them is time manipulation, like gravity, and these are anyway. We'll show you. We'll just surprise you with that one. And then Arc Light is basically arcane and lightning combined. Is a spell school that the wizard has, and it does lightning damage that usually disrupts targets. And then charged power, which is like burst damage. Um, so yeah,
Oh, demo time.
let's demo. Yeah.
All
So I
right,
think
let's
you're
go.
gonna screen share, right?
Yeah, I'll screen share for this one. Just give me one sec.
Okay. While we're loading it up, I can answer some questions.
Yeah,
Uh,
sounds good.
it would just
You
be
want?
so much easier just to see it, to be honest. Thank you
I
for
think
it now.
I think so too. Do you want to invite people on stage, or are you just gonna read the chat? What do you prefer?
Oh, I'll just reach out for now while we load it up.
Okay.
Does the block require his magic, or is more like sword parry? The block doesn't require any resources, just has block value, just like every other block in the game, basically. Zarya, yeah, I've talked to Zarya a little bit. He's excited for sure.
Oh, you did?
The wizard does have multiple weapons. Right now we're only showing the fire staff, but uh we will have multiple weapons for him. We'll talk
Mhm.
about the second weapon right after we do the demo.
Okay. All right. I'm setting up my frames on Twitch as well.
So we're also going
Oh.
to the Goldbrook Social Hub, which is a whole new map, or not whole. I wouldn't say whole new. It's a new mode, I guess. So we removed all the tutorial things in Goldbrook, and now it has test dummies, and players can. I think 15 people can come into the map at once, so you can kind of duel each other and stuff like
Yep.
that. So we'll show Goldbrook to you as well. Usually it takes like a minute or two to spin up the server internally, so it'll be like a minute here.
Yeah. So it's a map where you can obviously you don't lose any gear. You can't die. You can duel people. If you lose the duel, you go into a down state, but then you get resurrected after a couple of seconds. There's immortal target dummies that you can practice with. Uh, Twitch drops.
Oh yeah, we leaked the Twitch drops. Yeah, we're
We
gonna have a
leaked.
Twitch drops campaign. Maybe we have Sung talk about that.
We didn't
But
even
yeah,
see anything.
um,
Yeah. That's what we got. I think it's the same map, like you said. It looks a little different. It's a different area a little bit, but it's very similar. Will mage scrolls be consumed completely if used in Goldbrook? That's a good question. That's a good point. We do have a spot, so there's like the dueling spot, and then there's like a place. Okay, so I'm sharing screen right now, so it's a little bit easier to kind of explain. So this is the area right here where it's you're pacified. I can't attack here, and everyone's friendly. If you step out of this zone, then not so much. It's kind of free for all, but like I said, you can't really die. So that would be a good idea. Maybe once you get to this place, maybe it refills all your scrolls and stuff like that. So we could do something like that. That's a good idea. So here's the wizard. There he is, old man. This
yeah,
is
this is me. It's wizard versus wizard.
this is green gear. Someone asked what if that's what you asked. There's green gear. We have there's a couple of sets for him as well, but we'll just show this one set for now. All right. What do we show? Hold on. I'm gonna enable some cheats. Just to show a couple of scrolls and stuff like that. Classic. All right. I'm gonna show you guys the default loadout. All right. So let me make it nice. Disable all debug. We're playing in an internal build right now, so
You
we
can
have a
show
lot
Fireball
of.
first.
Yeah. Take off the hat. You want me to take off the hat? Sure, I'll take off the hat. Okay, there you go. First, visually. There's the wizard with no hat. That's what it looks like. I can take off more, but not for free. Okay, so if you go to target dummies here, this is these are fireballs.
Yeah.
So the fireball looks kind of like that. So it's kind of like a lobbing motion. That's the wrong spell. It's not exactly homing. It's kind of like tossing a long range grenade. So aiming, not very easy. And you can, like Chris said, you can hold it down, charge it up. You can get a big meatball that does a lot of damage. when you crit, yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of sparkles on the wizard. So the wizard can actually crit with his spells with his fire staff specifically because of some like perks I have and some traits. We're not gonna go through all the traits, but you'll see some of them in action. I just have like I'm max level because I leveled organically, of course, and didn't cheat. But you will see some of the traits that what a max level wizard would have. So you can tap fireball, you can charge it. The longer you charge it, the bigger this lava pool on the ground. The lava pool on the ground does damage, does fire buildup. Like Chris said, kind of like what you'd expect. You have crit chance. I can explain what this is.
Yeah, when you crit, you get this ley line here, which is like a damage buff that makes it so that you cast faster.
Yep.
So there's like this little like loop that you do, which you try to crit, and if you crit, then you get this little like ley line underneath you, and that juices you too.
It allows you to shoot even more, which means even more ley lines. So it's kind of a loop. You can move. Okay, let's show some of the skills. So these are some of the default skills, like skills on the you get by default. There will be more skills that you can unlock, but we'll just show the first ones for now. So the first one is Arclight Explosion. You put an arc, like a spot on the ground. My opponent doesn't see this little circle. The opponent doesn't see it. They see me casting it, so they know I've casted it somewhere. If you do it on me, Chris, then maybe they can see kind of what I see.
So they also get this new effect that we added called Disorient, and Disorient makes it so that you can't attack or cast spells. It's sort of like a silence. So it puts a little silence on you for, I don't know, like a second or so.
Right.
So you just don't want to stand in that.
Yeah. So the mirror image. Yeah, we have mirror images. It's a perk. There's my mirror image. So we have evades. You can evade like a normal class, and you can have an evade attack. You can double evade, which is kind of a blink. You can also kind of bamboozle people. Start one way, go the other way. They don't really know where you're going. There's gonna be a lot of wizards with all these mirror images. I'll show you guys a video of a funny bug we had the other day when the wizard was spawning like 20 mirror images instead of one. I can double evade, sure, double evade, and then there's also a special trait, like a max level trait that allows you to triple evade. So 1, 2, and 3, and the third evade also makes you invisible for a little bit. As you can see, kind of, yeah. If you do the whole triple, it eats up a lot of stamina, so you can't do it too much. But it's a lot of mobility. Yeah, you get pretty far. Yeah, there's like a bunch of other like small things, like this thing you can also aim. We're not gonna necessarily. Let's go to the next skill. You want to talk about the next skill, Chris, or do you want me to talk about it? The time warp.
Yeah. So you cast it on me.
I will cast time warp on Chris now. There you go.
Okay, so time warp. I'm moving around, so
get back here.
And then he can press a button and then summon me back to where I was. And so what's cool about this is you can kind of preempt the arcane explosion right before the. Yeah. It takes some skill to do it. I mean, you could try doing it. See if.
All right. So you do it. You start running away. I mean, I think it's fine. It keeps changing. I think if I throw it now, it should. Okay. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. I missed. Let's try again.
Oh, I did. Hold
on. Anyway, listen. You guys are better players. Okay, you'll nail it. It is possible. You can bring enemies back in time. You have a bunch of AoE spells. You have this. You have your big meteor. You can even summon a meteor on their heads. Keep in mind they are immune while they're teleporting, so you actually have to aim it properly. So you have to aim it when they land. Someone asked, can you do it on teammates?
You can. You can do it on allies or creatures or enemy players. Yeah.
Or you can also do it on
yourself.
So I just did it on myself. I can run this way, and when the rogue chases me, I just go back. So you can. There's a lot of potential with this one. It's like, yeah. Also, I started glowing because again I have like a bunch of perks active, which I don't think we'll talk about the perks. We'll just let you guys discover those. But I have a perk where when I teleport someone back, it gives me overload, which is the third skill, which we can talk about. That is normally.
Yep.
Can you? Yeah. You can choose. You can kind of choose to not teleport back. Let me just cover that last part. So when you use it on yourself, you get this little indicator there, which can actually just be attacked. And if you kill that thing, then you don't no longer get teleported. That's also kind of the counterplay.
Yeah, that's the counterplay.
If I do it to Chris, it would be kind of too trolled if he had no way of fighting it. So you can actually fight it by just shooting it, but you gotta pay attention to it. So yeah, you can actually break it. Yeah. All right, we can talk about the overload. Oh, let me show the fire staff cooking. Hold on, the dragon's breath. So this is the fire shield.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen the meatball, and then this is how you cook people. I believe there's some issue with the sound right now, but there is.
Here, I could do it to you. It might be easier to see.
Okay, you're gonna blind me. Yes. Yeah, you can also. There's another perk that.
There's also a perk too. That summons the puddles.
Yeah, so you can draw something nice. I don't have the perk. I think you have it. I don't. I have other perks on. It doesn't cost stamina. It costs energy. So the blue bar. See, it gets drained when I do this. So energy is kind of the same energy as other classes have, except the wizard has just more of it, but it regens slower. So you have a lot of juice when the fight starts, but as you keep fighting and you go through your energy, it gets like kind of. If a fight drags on for too long, you might have to kind of dip or use a scroll or use something else. We have some scrolls that regen energy. We have some scrolls that regen stamina. We have literally there's a scroll for everything. I don't know if we'll show scrolls today. I think we have like 6 scrolls already, and we're probably gonna add more. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna. I don't know if we'll show them today. We want you to kind of discover them as well in the world. Be like, oh, what is this? You know. Yeah, let's talk about the overload. If you want to talk about it.
Oh, you can cast it. You have so the bottom bar there that Andrei has, or we both have, is called charged power, and so you gain it by casting cast time fireball. So you can't do instants to generate it, and then you press the 3 skill, and then you just get a damage boost. It increases your damage. You just get powered up, and it drains it as you have the buff. One cool little thing you can do is that you can maintain the buff by casting fireballs while you have charge power up or overload up, and maintain the buff. So there's a lot of like little depth to these mechanics that a good player could really master.
Yeah, and then there's one more element to overload, which I think you guys are gonna like. So when you press overload, you do more damage. You start burning your charged power. Like Chris said, you can replenish it by just hitting charged attacks. But you can also, blink while casting.
Yeah, that was something you put in there. That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, you can blink while casting. Obviously, it still costs stamina. And there's some... there are ways to cheese this a little bit. Oh, I'm critting a lot. Holy. So we found that one good strat is to just go point blank and do that. I'm sorry, Chris. Oh, did I just? Oh, I thought I killed you. Yeah. So in this map, like I said, we can't die. You get downed. That means indicates you kind of lost the duel, I guess. But you get res back up after a couple of seconds. Fireball doesn't do self damage. This is a change we made globally. All explosions, so wizard explosion, the hunter seed explosion, and the priest star explosion, they damage yourself only 10%. So you take a little bit of damage. You do take the hit react, and you take a little bit of the affliction as well. But as you can see, I took 14 damage, not a lot. The 10%, we'll play with that number, see how it feels, but we don't want it to be completely free, so you can just, point blank hit people. But we don't want it to be too punishing either. And yeah, we have a couple more. I guess we can show the staff queue as well. So like Chris said, if I tag him with a fireball, even if it's not a charged one, he's gonna start taking fire damage like slowly over time. And if I press Q, I consume that affliction, and I summon like a pillar of fire. And if I have like a bunch of tag targets, you know, if I tag everyone, and do it, then they all explode. And when they explode, they apply more fire buildup, which makes them explode again. The explosion also builds more buildup. So if you have a bunch of targets grouped up, everything kind of starts exploding. Yeah. That's kind of what we got.
Yeah, we can maybe show the Phoenix, or
you want to show the Phoenix?
If you want.
Should we show the Phoenix? The Paladin? People want to see the Paladin already? It's been 10 minutes on the Wizard.
We're working on the Paladin right now, so
yeah,
but
Paladin,
we don't have nothing to show yet.
We have nothing to
It'll
show
be the
yet.
next. It will be the next class we release.
Yeah, this is
no ETA just yet.
Poor Wizard. Paladin mains unite. Unbelievable. 20% fire.
So one thing we can do. So one thing we could do, Andrei, is just go back to the deck real quick and then talk about some remaining stuff, and then we'll come back to this and answer anybody else's questions.
Sure. Okay. I will stop sharing, and you can share your POV.
Yeah, you can all right. So we'll go back to the deck real quick, and I do a couple more slides to show, and then we'll answer questions and keep showing them.
Yeah, while we answer questions, I'll share screen some more, and I'll if you have questions or requests, I can like do it live. Yeah, you can share screen now.
All right, cool. Can you see this? So someone asked, like, what is the next weapon? What's the other weapons that we're adding for the Wizard? We're working on this, working on the second weapon right now. We're going to put it out during the season. We want to have some focus testing on the Fire Staff for now. But the second weapon is frost themed, and it's called the Frost Orb. And it's how the Frost Orb works. You cast frost spells. The Wizard holds the orb in his hands, and he can shift between doing a projectile like ice like frostbolt sort of thing that freezes targets, or he could switch between AoE snare, an AoE like damage around him that's channeled. And then he has some other fun stuff too that's not listed here as well, like that we're kicking around, not quite ready to share yet. But that's going to be the second weapon that he has. And then there's a third weapon that we have designed as well, but that's not ready yet. But we'll share that at some point in time too. So, yeah, we're super excited about this weapon as well. And then, looking into during early access, what more things are we going to be adding? There's a lot more stuff for the Wizard that we have planned. We also want to deepen or add this chemistry system to the class and to the environment and to the world. Like, so, frost meets fire and it creates like fog or these things like that. There's going to be a little bit of this with some of his scroll spells that we'll release, but we're going to juice it up more and through the game with a deeper kind of chemistry system there. Just more spells. We have a lot more spell ideas. Just need time to build them. We really want to see like how the Wizard does and kind of like what are his weaknesses if he has weaknesses that are too much, we can kind of address that by adding some spells. Like, we're going to be adding some new spells for the other classes as well this patch. And then so he's going to release with 2 armor sets. The second armor set will look a little bit like this image here called the Wormforged armor set. And then we'll be adding a third set later on when we introduce probably the Frost Orb. Of course, we're going to add some character customization to the Wizard, just like all the other classes as well. This is something that we have planned or going to be building out. And like I said, the third weapon type, which you can imagine what element that is. All right, so that's what I had there. And so ready for any Q&A, and then you can kind of play the Wizard a little bit more, Andrei, while we answer questions, I guess.
Wait, I was gonna give myself a bunch of scrolls just in case we want to show something. Yeah,
Okay.
I have a few of them lined up here. Alright, let me share the screen again. Yeah, if you guys want to ask questions, okay, I see a bunch of hands. Just let me share a screen and I'll invite you guys.
I'll load up the client too, so you could fight against me, and maybe I'll try some different classes.
Should I leave this session then? Oh no, you're still there. I still see you here.
Yeah, let me see if I can just let me see if I can just relog in.
Okay.
I can skip the queue.
Show the rest of the map. Show map.
Oh yeah, you can run around the map. Yeah.
Sure. This is the map.
I saw there's a test dummy underground in one area. I thought that was funny. It's like the
Is there?
yeah.
Okay, is it okay if I invite people on stage?
It's the introvert test dummy area.
Well, where's that? I need that.
Let's see if you can find it. I'll show you.
Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, Aaron told you where it's at.
I like that. Okay, I'll start getting people on the stage. All right.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Mr. Pepechuga, welcome back.
Hey, Amboni, can you hear me?
I can.
Yep.
Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you. Thank you again for inviting me over for the question. So I just wanted to clarify my question from before because the finding the world scrolls sound amazing, but again, it would be having to use a scroll that you find on the world and you don't even know what it does with the tooltip. So I was wondering whether if you can test without fear your scrolls in Goldbrook, scrolls that you found inside of the game before you actually get to use them for the first time. It was just clarifying my question from before. Does it currently work that if you bring in health potions to Goldbrook, same as in the deathmatch, when you come back to the lobby, you haven't spent anything?
So the scrolls are a little different from, let's say, the fire arrows. Yeah, the rest of the consumables. They, as you can, I have a few of them. They all is placeholder. All right, so the icons are not final, but you can see them. You know where my usual consumables would be, that F1 and F2.
Cooldown, that's it.
It's not a cooldown; it's a charge system. So if I use one, I'm gonna show you the invisibility one. So I can go invisible and see I'm using a charge on it, and it also costs some energy. And basically, I can load in a game with, let's say, the invisibility scroll, which I think is at 10, maybe. I think 10 charges by default, and then basically I have 10 charges of that spell. When I run out, I'm out. You know, if I find any, great. If not, I just have the 10. When you leave the match and you go back to town, then they all get refilled, and you can just join another match with full stacks again.
So the ones that you're spending right now in Goldbrook, they will be spent, and once you're back in the lobby, they will be refreshed. And so it's the same with the ones that you will find across the world.
Yeah, I have to double check on that, Andrei. I'm not sure. I think it'd be fine if you brought items into Goldbrook, like the consumables, and then they got refunded when you left. I'm not sure yet if we have the ability to do that, but we'd be totally fine if that's the case. Yeah, what Andrei was saying is that the spell scrolls, they have like charges on them, and they're gonna have like a number, like a lot of charges, perhaps like 10 or so. So you can use it 10 times just with one scroll. But after the scroll's gone, then it's consumed. You got to find another one or craft another one.
The scroll is consumed.
Okay, it is after you use all the charges. Yep.
So there goes my question: whether the anyway, it's food for thought, because it would be nice to test new abilities that you find in the world without having to spend them, since it's a part of the class. And lastly, I just wanted to say thank you so much, guys, for doing this game. It's just insane how good it looks and how amazing it feels to play it. And I can't wait to smash mages with my warrior. Hopefully.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm finding it hard to believe. Look at this. Look at this. It's insane. I love it.
You're gonna
now the resistance's food will be useful.
That's sick. Okay, looking forward to it. Can't wait for today. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. By the way, we're doing a lot of testing right now, and so all the numbers that you see aren't final. So you know, we're still tuning a lot of things. Yep.
All right. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Thank you for the question. May get someone else here, Mr. G. Hello. Can we see the
Hello,
HP?
can you guys?
Oh,
Hello.
there he goes.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my question. My question is, will you guys be actively balancing the wizard as the season goes on, or is it going to be more of a see what happens and then balance the wizard after the season's over?
I think probably a mixture of both. I think we will probably do some tuning during the season because it is a new class and it's hard to know, every single permutation of builds or situations. But we also don't want to like completely, neuter the wizard during the season either. And so some things need time to like play out. Like there's a lot of things during season 0 that people thought this class was weak in the beginning, but then after they played it more, they're like, oh, this is how it's good, so I kind of want to give it some time to breathe as well. So we'll see. But if things are just like Wizard just destroying everybody, it's probably something that we'll have to address. But we've been doing a lot with the different classes, so we have some idea of how things will go. But good question though.
All right, awesome. Yeah, that was my concern. Whether it's like crazy powerful or crazy weak, and then we have to deal with it for the entire season. But same sentiment as the last person. Love your game. Love the great work you guys are doing, and thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for the question.
Thank you for the question. Yep. Let me get someone else in. New person. Guys, raise your hands if you want to ask a question on stage. I am trying to. Aha, there was a person right there. Hello.
Hey, thanks for the moment. Question about Goldbrook. Consumes being refunded. It's kind of a concern if we're using up horns and spears in there. It kind of gives us farming homework from duels in Goldbrook. I wonder if that's a concern.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like I said, I think it'd be ideally. Okay, I just confirmed with somebody. Nothing is saved in Goldbrook, so if you use all your consumables in there, you'll get them all back afterwards. So it's all good there. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't want to save for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as deathmatch.
You do.
You don't lose anything.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
The one thing we do want to change with Goldbrook that we realized, but we don't have time for it just yet, is that it'd be cool if you could respec your character, the traits in the sanctuary area. But we didn't have time to add that, but it's something we'll explore doing. I think we're going to learn a lot about the social area. Really, the social space was something the community asked for. And so it wasn't something we ever planned, but the community really asked for it, so we added it. And so we'll find out more from your feedback of what things we could add to it. Yeah.
Exactly. Let me add Pepechuga again. Sure.
Hey, what's up, guys? Did I tell you I love your game? You was mentioning the changing the stuff on the sanctuary. And you know what? I just forgot what I was gonna ask. Oh, jeez, this is embarrassing. I'm sorry. I forgot what I was gonna ask. But no, yeah, I remember.
That's okay. Yeah.
I remember. So, how big is the lobby for Goldbrook? You can go in with your premates. You are with your friends. And also, how does VoIP work on Goldbrook? It's like if there's a bunch of people all talking at once. I mean, because I don't know
VoIP.
how many people can fit on Goldbrook and how will it work. Can you mute other players or something if somebody's just trolling like crazy? Just what's your insight on that?
So we're going to be testing how many people should be or make sense in Goldbrook. Right now, I think it's 15. There is prox chat enabled. It's just for a free for all. So it's whatever, however players decide to be, act in. It's free for all. So over time, we're thinking about adding ways you can mute individual people. We don't have that tech just yet. But that would be helpful if there's somebody who's toxic or something in there. But that said, as long as they're not in the sanctuary area, you can kill them. So there's that.
Yeah. At least you
Yeah,
can
and
kill
I
them.
forgot they have another part of the question.
He said how many people could
Yeah,
get in,
15
and
right now.
yeah,
I
and
think
he
you
had,
can enter with your squad,
Yeah.
but you will be free for all. I
Yep,
think.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let me get the new person in.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Wonderful. I have a question. Is 2v2 planned for the next season as well?
Yeah, so we have duo queue in this season. That will be in when it goes live, yeah. That's what you meant, right? Duo queue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's big. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Confirmed.
That was the easy one.
Um,
That was another thing the community asked a lot for that we added.
that's basically it. I don't have much more to ask. I'm very happy and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you appreciating us. Appreciate the appreciation.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the goals for the season at the Meet the Devs like three of them ago, like when we did like the initial preview. There's actually been a few new things that we're going to be adding that we haven't talked about yet that we'll talk about next Meet the Devs. I won't spoil it. And there's a lot of experimental things that some people may like, some people may not like, that we will talk about next Meet the Devs as well.
Do block potions maybe get cheaper because they're like insanely expensive right now and they have like a very good value but nobody uses them so far? I feel like.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that feedback. The designer who made that is in the chat right now, so he heard it.
Oh hey.
All right, well, thank you for the question. Let's get Mr. T in.
Oh, what's up, guys?
Not
Yo.
too bad. How are you?
Hey, I was wondering if you could show the perks on the gear.
Sure, I can show what I have equipped right now. Like Chris said, we're gonna launch next week with 2 gear sets. So there's one more coming soon, TM, and these are the perks I have right now. So my staff makes my fireball, it gives it a higher chance to crit. There's a bunch of traits and perks and stuff that work with crit specifically for the fire staff. So stacking a lot of crit is an actual thing. So there's the staff, the hat. This is this is gonna be the new set, the one Chris showed as an image, but it's using the blue set instead. So this is more focused around like what kind of burst damage and being a glass cannon and just bursting and doing a lot of burst damage. So this one reduces the charged power of overload and overcharge, and I actually showed overcharge. Overload is the one that makes you deal a bunch of more damage and can blink while casting, and I also showed overcharge where it's like an instant cast and it makes your next attack instantly charged to full. So instead of sitting here and charging for 3 seconds, I can just press my button and then I can lob an insta big fireball. So that becomes cheaper with this perk. Then I have this supercharged when my time warp, or no, right now it's just time warp. Where time warp successfully relocates yourself for an enemy, you gain overload for a short duration, so you get even more stacks of the big buff. And I have when Arclight Explosion effect. Your Arclight Explosion effect generates charge power for each target hit. So once again, like more charged power means more overload, and overload has a very short cooldown, so you're only really restricted by the amount of charge power you have, the one that kind of ticks down. So if I had a lot of enemies, stacked together, all of my energy consuming skills would also give me charge power, so you just keep the buff up for longer. And then we have staying in the ley line, which is the big kind of crack that formed. Greatly increases your energy regen. More energy means more arc lights, which means more charge power, which means more overloads. I think that's all of them. Yeah, that's it.
The last question I got is, are
Sure.
you able to bunny hop and charge that fireball as well?
Right now, no.
If you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Right now you can't. we're open for feedback on that one. We've heard feedback on both, like it feels good and it feels wrong. So you can like start charging your fireball as you're in the air. That works. But once you started charging, you can't jump anymore. I know Hunter can do
I
it.
think it's a great idea that they can't. So
You'll find people who say it's terrible that you can't. So you are our ambassador for that one then.
I'll take it. All
Yeah.
right, thanks guys.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for the questions. But you can blink while casting, that's true. Let me get Mr. Defax for a question.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Not much. Oh, what?
Ah, I gotta.
We're getting ganked here. Getting ganked live. Is this you, Chris? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why do you bring a rogue?
My question is, you guys got new abilities for the hunter and the warrior. Are those accompanying with new gear sets as well for traits in season 1, or?
With
Kind
other
of.
classes?
Yeah, with
Is that
like
what you
warrior,
said? Sorry, I
hunter.
was-
Yep.
So we are adjusting some of the current sets traits. What feedback that you guys have said you didn't really love them or didn't really have a lot of uses for. So we've done some adjustments. It's but we haven't added like new sets just yet. We do have some plans to add new sets later down during early access. Yeah, I think for almost every class got some adjustments on either perks or like their core abilities or something like that. So there's something almost for everybody in the patch, no matter what class you are.
Awesome, perfect. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for the game, guys.
Cool,
Good
cool.
question. All right, let's get a new persona in here. Mr. Inferno.
Hey, can you hear me?
Fernox, hello. Yep.
Yep.
What's up?
Yeah, thank you for picking me. It was not a question related wizard particularly, but more about the trios and duos. What is your take on limiting lobbies with one per each class? What is your take on this? Are you always going to be able to have like triple wizard, triple hunter, or even double hunter, double wizards? That's basically my question.
Yeah, good question. We have to kind of see how the balance of the game goes. I don't think there's any need to do it just yet in the game. And really, as designers, you're trying to build the game in a way where you don't need to do that, where you don't need to restrict comp or restrictions on classes in the comp. So the goal would be we wouldn't have to do that. But we will see how things go. I think as we add the wizard here and then later the paladin, we'll kind of see how the metas in the game develop. It's funny because a big thing in WoW is RMP, like Rogue Mage Priest, and I really kind of feel like that comp is really good here as well. And so we'll kind of just see how things go. Yeah, but no plans yet. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks again for the game. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for the question. Let me get Mr. Diamond. Oh, Chris is beating me up.
Hello.
How's it going? Hey.
Good. I was thinking about the first season, and my question is: Are you have any plans to make some discount on first season release? I just thought this could be a great opportunity for people to meet the game.
Yeah, we do have plans to do a discount some point in time. It's a Sung question. Is Sung in the chat? I don't know if he wants to say.
It
says realm. It says realm. He says not right now. He doesn't want to talk about it yet. But in some point in time, I do think that's a good idea. I think that does help us get more players, and this season makes perfect sense to do that at some point in time. So once we have more to announce there, we'll announce it.
Okay, then, but maybe you can say something about Twitch drops, or not yet.
We are gonna do Twitch drops. I don't know, Sung, if you want to say anything about that. Okay.
I can I can say something about Twitch drops, but it's not what you want to hear.
We'll talk about it next Meet the Devs maybe, but we are going to do some. Yeah.
Okay, then that's all. Thanks for doing a great job.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank
Good
you.
questions.
Okay, let's get Mr. Satorix TTV.
Hey guys.
Hey.
First thing, I'm pro bunny hop wizard. We need to be able to knock that man out of the sky.
That's how it goes.
Second thing, the real question is, as far as like patches go in the future after season 1, obviously you guys have been working pretty hard in the early access 0 season. Do you have plans on like sticking a little bit more towards like consistent patches throughout, or are you guys planning on just like balancing right off the rip and then waiting until the next season to make changes as you guys hear?
It's a good question. I think right now our cadence is really to put most of the content into season patches. The reason why is just because then players know of like when a good time to come back is. I think it's a healthy thing for the game if you play a bit during the season and then you're like, okay, that was a lot of fun, I'll come back in the next season. As long as you feel good when you leave that season, that's like a win for the studio and for us. And so that's kind of the model. We did a mini patch last time in season 0 where we did, I can't remember what we put in there, but we put like a number of adjustments in there and some new items and stuff like that, new quests at least. So it's possible we will do something similar this season as well. I mentioned the Frost Orb, the second wizard weapon. It's possible we could put this in a mini patch in between the season. So that gives something like there's something new during the season, but it's not as big as like a huge new content patch with new maps and that sort of thing. So we're going to keep experimenting. I'm really curious to hear like what the community's thoughts there are, because I feel like if you space around too many updates through the season, then it kind of dilutes the potency of like the wipe. But it's something we'll learn and adjust over time, I think.
I think my question was more towards like balancing in the meta.
Oh, balancing.
Like, yeah, like meta shifts and stuff like that towards season. Obviously, the content at the end makes so much sense. Like you said, coming back is best part. But the balancing is
right.
what
I think we'll do some balancing 100% for sure during the patch. I don't know completely the extent of it. Generally, I wouldn't want to like totally shift the meta completely so that every time you log in, you're like, is this even good anymore? Like I just got used to this weapon and now it's like not viable anymore. I think that is too far, but it's like, wow, this ability is totally broken and we can't play the game because of this combo or something. That is something we have to address. So yeah, it's just about striking the right balance there. I'm curious what your thoughts there are.
Thoughts? I feel like, having subtle things that are changing objectively broken things or too strong isn't a bad idea throughout a patch, right? Or I guess a season. So, leave the content for the end of it, but tweak things here and there that you have throughout the season that allows players to experiment with new things, right? Like, I feel like one of the things that this last season fell short on for me personally was just a diversity in play. It seemed like it just got too stagnant for too long, and I think that happened to a lot of people, to where even those small little changes in the balancing can really boost the morale of people to come try something new out, right? I think that's how I visualize.
Got it. That makes sense. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for the questions.
We'll think about that.
All right. Thanks for the question. I think I found your secret target dummies, Chris. Are these the ones?
No.
They're
in
more?
the cellar. They're underground. Yeah, there's one that's underground.
Oh.
Thank you,
Where
guys.
is that?
Great game.
Yeah.
All right,
Love it. I'm
thanks for
excited.
thank you. Yeah, Andrei, we could probably do one or two more, and then
Sure. Sure.
we'll wrap it up.
Where is this? I'm gonna keep trying to find this. Alright, let's get the Keyvan here for a question. Hello.
Hello. First of all, absolutely love the mage stuff, or wizard stuff rather. Sorry, I played mage in WoW for 21 years. This question is more about the leaderboards and sniping that from chat. Since you guys already have the statistics and Song's able to post it for deathmatch, is it possible to get like a pseudo kill leaderboard? Doesn't have to be competitive or super serious, but
Totally. Yeah, we do have the data on the server side. It's just we haven't integrated yet into the UI. It is something that we are planning on adding. This could be another candidate for this like mini patch during the season, but it's possible we could think about showing some of the leaderboards to just be on a web UI, not like in the client. Maybe that would be cool. But anyway, we do have it planned. It is something we are going to add. It's only a question of time. So, but we hear you though. It's bubbling up to like a big priority for sure.
yeah. I feel bad for Song every week in the death matches having to post the leaderboard and just have like a weekly deathmatch leaderboard type thing.
Right,
Yeah, no,
right.
Absolutely love what I see. You guys did way better than I was expecting, and I was expecting a lot.
Cool.
Damn.
Awesome. Good to hear. Yeah. Looking forward to you guys checking out the new maps as well.
Anyways, thank you. Bye.
Thank
Alright.
you. Alright, time for one more. Last question. Alright, you give me a number. Final one, 1 to 6.
3.
Mr. Austin is 3.
Yo.
Hi. What's up?
First of all, I just want to say that, like the last guy said, I expected like a lot for Wizard, and y'all went crazy with this. Like this is amazing. I love it. My question was more so like a little bit of a small two-parter. More so like for customization. Like is every class getting it? Like Hunter has theirs already, and then like any new information on like the new maps, like the crypt or the nighttime, and is that releasing on the new wipe as well?
Yeah, all the those 2 new maps are releasing on the wipe, the crypt and the night map. And then there will be a little bit of character customization, like some new cosmetics that we're adding for the founder edition and god tier editions. Because we had mentioned in the past we want to improve those over time and add a little bit more there. They won't be like full like full character customizations like how the elf one is, but there will be something, and so we will share that next week of what those will be. And we have a lot more plans going forward with those. Gosh, and what was the other part of your question?
I think that was, you answered it all as far as the customization and the new map
okay.
dropping. One small one left, if not, then cool. But
Go ahead,
is there gonna be like another boss as far as like Marthog, like but for Crypt as well? Like in any information on that, or just kind of wait and see?
Yeah, now that I think about it, there are some things that are going to unlock during the season, and that is going to be one of them, is a boss in the crypt. So there will be a boss that's going to be in the crypt. The crypt has a lot of really hard mobs, though, almost just like a lot of mini bosses almost. So those will feel challenging, but yeah, there is a boss plan for it.
Awesome. That was everything. Again, amazing job, guys. I appreciate your time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the question.
All right, I think that's it. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed this little
Awesome.
little sneak preview. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. Really excited to see what players do with the wizard. I think he has a lot of little depths that can create some interesting combos and some interesting builds too, even with the items that we have now. So really excited to see, and he does have some cool synergies with some of the other classes too. So yeah, I'm really yeah, that's all I have to say, I guess.
People are wondering. I've kept teasing this meteor, guys. The meteor might be a little bugged in this version and might be having some older VFX. Chris, can I show them the meteor?
Yeah. It might be too fast, the cast time in this build. We'll see.
It's already changed, but this is what we got. Okay, here. I've been teasing it this whole time. Boom. There it is. And there.
Oh yeah, it is bugged because it keeps pulsing the explosion.
I knew this would happen. That's why I didn't want to do it, because I know this explosion just doesn't go away. But there it is. You can summon a bunch of them.
Yeah, it also comes out too fast. It should take a while to build up. Anyway, that will be. That's what we have to get and meet the devs to go work on.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to commit to this one. I knew this would happen. But you can do some crazy combos. You can bring people together, bring them back. You have a skill that kind of locks people in place almost. And then dropping meteors on top of them is lots of damage. But yeah, you can dodge it, if you time it right. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this little preview. I hope you see you guys in game in a week when the new patch drops, and I'll see you next week also for another episode of Meet the Devs, where I think it's gonna be Chris again talking more about the patch, and that's probably the plan.
Yeah, we will be going over everything that goes into the season, and there's some new things as well that we'll talk about, and yeah, super exciting for that one. So we'll see you then. And I also wanted to shout out everybody in the team who worked on the Wizard. Mel, who did the animations, and Joe, who did the character art, and Cole, who did the viz dev, and Kyle, who did the sounds, and many others, Stefano, other people. So yeah, it was just a labor of love, and I think it really turned out amazing. I think goal for us with each class to make them feel like the benchmark for RPG action combat classes, and I think the Wizard really is that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All right, I'll see you guys next week then. Have a beautiful rest of the day.
All right, bye-bye.
Later.